Hello, this is David from davidcliveprice.com. This is the podcast edition of this week's e-zine, Asia Business Leadership and Personal Branding. Many Western business people going into Asia forget that one of the most essential ways to open doors, forge lasting business relationships, and show Asia business leadership is personal branding. That may sound strange, as if you have to become a Richard Branson or a Steve Jobs to succeed. But it's amazing how many people fall down when it comes to projecting themselves and their company. Part of the challenge is clear communication. How to speak clearly and at a regular pace in a foreign culture without complicating your language. You have to make sure you're understood. But there's more to it than that. Personal branding goes to the heart of what you are trying to sell or promote. You. If you walk through almost any Asian capital, from Seoul to Beijing, from Tokyo to Singapore, from Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur, you'll be knocked out by the sheer amount of visual stimulus. Stylish architecture, huge billboards with beautiful actors or actresses and singers, models, top-of-the-line cars, world-class cosmetics, and fashion. The various countries of Asia have youthful and dynamic cultures. The younger generation often form a majority of their population. Their idols fill the airways and the TV channels. Everywhere, stylishness and modernity are on display. Therefore, those who desire success in the marketplaces of Asia should sit up and take notice. Most manuals about business success in Asia miss out this one essential element. They will tell you that Asians are much more, quote, contextual in business interactions. They talk about, quote, high context Asians versus, quote, low context Westerners. But beyond the basic rules of etiquette and recommending you dress conservatively, they don't specify what this high context is. To put it bluntly, it's what you look like. It's the visual impression you give in what are increasingly smart, sophisticated, cosmopolitan and cultured Asian business circles. Your face, your clothing, your body language, your speech and visual impression are all part of what an Asian counterpart will conclude about you. This may sound like the Hollywood hang-up on image. It may strike you as nothing to do with someone who is selling widgets in Chongqing. But in Asia, the visual goes beyond simply image. The good, i.e., well-educated, professional impression you make is often the entry point for further conclusions about you and hence your business. Being smart and respectful often indicates other promising values such as truthfulness, diligence, kindness, intelligence, and loyalty. These values will form part of the impression a Korean or a Japanese, a Malaysian or a Chinese makes as to whether they can work with you. They will contribute to the feeling that an Asian has about you. In almost every Asian country, this unspoken feeling is what cements the relationship. The image you protect of stylishness will see you categorized into boxes labeled social class, education, potential, and the ultimate, I want to be seen with you. So if you are entering Asia markets for the first time, or you want to up your game in Asia, just remember that if you ask an Asian's opinion about a friend or a politician or a potential employee, they will often say, they look like a good or a clever or trustworthy person. The good news is that this emphasis on appearances doesn't mean that you have to undergo cosmetic surgery in Korea, Japan, or the Philippines. You just have to take care with your personal presentation. Go to the gym and lose some pounds. Sort out your wardrobe. Get well scrubbed and regularly moisturize. Drop the biro and invest in a Mont Blanc. Buy a good watch and put away the swatch. Each of these details will be quickly assessed and noted as part of your personal branding, and each of them will mark you out as being, quote, worth it. No one has ever been looked down upon for dressing up a bit or dressing slightly more conservatively. In Asia, a low-level person is unshaven or wearing a check shirt and baggy chinos or a revealing beach-type dress at a business meeting. If you want to gain millionaire status in Asia, you have to be on the money. You have to get the rules. And the number one rule is good personal branding. I'd love to hear from you if you have tips or comments about doing business in China or in other parts of Asia. You can leave them at my blog, www.davidcliveprice.com/blog. And of course, please subscribe if you want more on-the-ground intel like this. Just add yourself to the subscription box on www.davidcliveprice.com. And you can also subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.